Welcome to the Binge or Cringe Tunes podcast with Jimmy and Rocko.
Hi, I'm Rocko.
And I'm Jimmy.
Welcome to Binge Or Cringe Tunes, the podcast that reviews original songs by indie artists in pop, rock, R&B, and any radio-friendly style.
We review your music for artistic and technical merit based on today's trends and current AES and European standards.
Basically, I'm going to say I like the beat, and Jimmy will say the decibels are not at the right levels. For technical, Jimmy will use 8 different standards using the latest software tools.
And for artistic merit, Rocko will be basing it on the listener's perspective.
Jimmy has 30 plus years writing and recording music with local musicians, and he has a love for sound engineering. He studied acoustics, he built his own speakers, and tests sound equipment.
And Rocko has also spent 30 years of writing, producing, and releasing songs worldwide, has garnered awards, hit signals, and was hired by labels to come up with hooks for their artists. Welcome to today's podcast. Our submission today is from Nara Amaux, and the song is called Speed of Starlight.
The trick you don't hold, I can do. You don't hold, I can do.
Rocko, what did you think?
Well, there's a short intro. There were times I was having difficulty making out the words, so I'm not sure if it's because the voice is too low in the mix or the articulation. Maybe both. The melody itself is pretty good. The chorus hook is clear and fairly catchy. It's a very short song again, like I think the one we had last week. But being that it's a dance beat, I almost expect it to be 5 minutes long or longer. So it caught me off guard to being such a short song. Lyrically, it just felt like a bunch of words. I can't say there was really a focus on the story in there. But then again, it is a dance-oriented song. So typically a song like this, it's more about the beat than the lyrics. So I guess I'll leave it at that because in the end, I was tapping my foot.
Okay, well, that's a fair assessment. So let's go on to the technical side. So now that we know that it was a dance tune, let's go to tonal balance. Well, it's hit and miss here. The high end is fine, but the low end is not. It's not balanced well, especially for the type of tune it is. You might want to look at your mix on your low end. The mono compatibility works out fine. The average LUFS is on the high side at -10. You might want to drop that a bit to -13 or 14 to be more in with the standards. Your peak level hit at 0.8, which is in excess of 0 and virtually 4 decibels above what it should be. That's going to be a problem. That's going to give you some distortion and some clipping on your sound. Your stereo correlation, surprisingly, was at 85%, so that's a very good mark. You're hitting the full spectrum, so from the lows to the highs, you got it in there. Now, Your average loudness is only at 1.5, so you have a very static tune. There's very little dynamics going on. Again, for a dance song, maybe not a bad thing, but pretty static. Your crest factor is good. Nothing wrong with that. And then lastly, your dynamic range is at 10, also very acceptable. So a few little points to address, but otherwise, not a bad attempt. Not a bad attempt at all.
Jimmy, just so that listeners can have a better idea, when you're saying like the crest factor, what exactly are you mean by that?
Okay, so the crest factor is tied in with the loudness range and dynamic range. What it is, it's telling you that there's a point when you're very dynamic in your music, and there's a point when you lack dynamics. And the crest factor is a window between the low and the high part. Not too dynamic and not adynamic, so without dynamics. So we don't want like a constant sine wave coming out of your speaker, and we don't want a high and low area where the drums slam and you don't hear the voice and there's a quiet part. So that's a loud dynamic range. So today's music, with the way radio stations treat things and streaming services treat things, when they put their standard on, if you have a large dynamic range, all the quieter parts are not going to be heard very well. So you want to be within that window. And if you need to look at it, know more about the crest factor, you can look it up online and you'll get a very good example of what it means.
Perfect. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So overall, musically and stuff, was there something, on the list? I know you're doing the technical thing, but did you like this track?
There was a certain amount of originality to it, for sure. If I remember correctly, the voices came out well recorded. I think the production, again, because of the technical merits, had some minor issues to deal with, but I still think it was a good submission.
Perfect. So that's it for us.
That's it.
And for listening into Binge Or Cringe Tunes.
Till next time.
Thank you for listening to the Binge or Cringe Tunes podcast with Jimmy and Rocko here at Anchor FM. Until next time.